This isn't just a trip, it's a statement. And it's not a holiday, it's a declaration of independence. What we're seeing with Meghan and Harry's upcoming, privately funded tour of Australia is a direct challenge to the British monarchy. Royal experts are now openly using the word revenge to describe what's happening, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. This isn't just some former royals visiting a Commonwealth nation. This is a full-scale, meticulously planned operation in three major Australian cities. It's a calculated power play, and many insiders believe it could be the final blow to their already broken relationship with King Charles and the rest of the royal family. Let's be real for a second. Calling this a tour is buying right into the PR spin. This is a commercial venture dressed up as a royal visit, and it's happening at the most sensitive time imaginable for the monarchy. The timing, the ticket prices, the sheer audacity of it all points to one thing. They are building a rival court on the other side of the world to settle old scores. The royal family is reportedly bracing for impact, knowing that this Australian adventure could become a masterclass in overshadowing the institution they left behind. The tensions aren't just rising, they're about to boil over. So, what is this trip that has royal watchers sounding the alarm? On the surface, it's a whirlwind visit to Australia. But when you dig into the details, it looks a lot more ambitious. What started as a rumored brief stop has exploded into a massive operation targeting Melbourne, Canberra, and Sydney. This isn't a quiet visit. It's a campaign designed for maximum impact. First, the events themselves. Prince Harry is scheduled as a keynote speaker at the Inter-Age Psychosocial Safety Summit in Melbourne. This is a high-end corporate event, and getting in the door isn't cheap. Tickets reportedly start at a whopping $1,978. This isn't a charity gig. It's a paid speaking engagement where Harry is leveraging his story for a hefty fee. It's business. Then there's Meghan's agenda. She's headlining a girls' weekend retreat hosted by the Her Best Life podcast at a luxurious Sydney hotel. The main event is a Q+A with Meghan during a gala dinner. And the price for that? Tickets start at an eye-watering £1,400. That's over 2,000 Australian dollars. This isn't philanthropy. It's the monetization of a brand built on the foundations of the very institution they claim they fled. A representative for the Sussexes quickly confirmed this is a privately funded visit, likely to get ahead of any controversy. But it hasn't worked. An online petition in Australia, demanding that no taxpayer money be used for the trip, has already gathered over 35,000 signatures. It shows the Australian public sees what's happening. This isn't a couple representing a nation, but high-end influencers selling access. And in a move that says it all, their children, Archie and Lilibet, aren't coming along. It just hammers home the point. This is a business trip, a professional endeavor to expand their empire, completely free from any royal control. If the commercial nature of the trip wasn't enough to make Buckingham Palace nervous, the timing is what makes it feel like an act of aggression. The Sussexes' week of high-profile events in Australia isn't just happening during a random week. Far from it. Their visit lands smack in the middle of one of the most significant weeks on the royal calendar. Within a short window, the monarchy is observing three major milestones. First, and most poignantly, is the centenary of the birth of the late Queen Elizabeth on April 21st. It's a moment of reflection on a monarch who defined an era. For the Sussexes to launch a huge media tour at the exact same time is seen by many as incredibly disrespectful. It creates a split-screen effect in the media, forcing a choice between honoring the Queen's legacy and covering the Sussexes' latest venture. But that's not all. That same week marks the 8th birthday of Prince Louis, the youngest child of William and Kate. And to top it off, the week also includes the 15th wedding anniversary of the Prince and Princess of Wales. Is this all just one big, unfortunate coincidence? Royal experts don't think so. They argue it's a classic Sussex move, deliberately timed to overshadow these important family occasions. Every headline about Meghan's gala is one not written about the Queen's centenary. Every TV segment on Harry's speech is one that isn't covering the royal family. This is a battle for the spotlight, and the Sussexes have chosen to fight it during a week when the family is at its most nostalgic. and maybe its most vulnerable. It's a lot to process, and it's clear there are some powerful games being played. Is this timing a deliberate slap in the face, or just really bad planning? I'm seeing a ton of opinions in the comments, and I want to hear yours. Let me know what you think down below. And if you want to stay on top of this story, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're following every twist and turn, and you won't want to miss what comes next. This brings us to the real reason this tour is being called an act of revenge. Royal expert Richard Palmer, who has his finger on the pulse of the palace, put it bluntly. He said that Meghan and Harry want to prove their critics wrong, so we'll be hoping it is a huge success. If it is, it will be Meghan's revenge. That one quote cuts through all the PR and gets to the raw ambition behind this trip. Ever since they left the royal family, the Sussexes have been slammed by critics. They've been accused of not being able to make it on their own and of failing to launch a successful brand. This trip is their answer. It's their attempt to prove their global appeal, their commercial power, and their ability to command a stage without the crown's backing. Choosing Australia is deeply symbolic. Their last major tour there in 2018 was a massive success, with huge, adoring crowds. That trip is now seen as the before picture, the high point they fell from. By going back on their own terms, they're trying to prove the magic was always about them, not the institution. A successful tour with sold-out events would be the ultimate validation. While Harry and Meghan are planning their big comeback, King Charles is left dealing with the fallout. And this trip is a major headache for him. According to reports, the visit could wreck any chance of reconciliation. How can you repair a bridge when the other side is busy building a rival fortress? The king's worries aren't just about family drama, they're about diplomacy. The monarch is Australia's head of state, and Charles is reportedly concerned about maintaining good relations with the country, where Republican sentiment is always simmering. The last thing he needs is his son and daughter-in-law parachuting in and causing a media storm that reflects poorly on the crown. Experts have warned that if Meghan and Harry garner a lot of media attention while they're out in Australia, it will almost certainly overshadow the official royal events back home. This is reportedly what's angering the senior royals the most. It's one thing to go your own way. It's another to actively compete. We're told that, behind the scenes, the palace and the Sussex camp are talking to deconflict their schedules. But that's just a logistical courtesy. It does nothing to solve the fundamental problem. The tension remains incredibly high because this trip isn't an olive branch. It's a strategic move that says they will no longer ask for permission. They are building their own empire, and if it casts a shadow over the king's, so be it. So where does this leave us? We have a couple dead set on proving their global relevance and a monarchy trying to navigate a week of deep personal significance. This Australian tour is the explosive intersection of these two worlds. This trip is a huge gamble. If it's a success, with cheering crowds and glowing media, Meghan and Harry will have gotten the revenge they seem to crave. They will have shown their power as a standalone brand. But if it fails, if they are met with apathy or protests, it could be a humiliating disaster. The bigger question is what this means for their fragile family ties. Is this the final straw? Will this move to overshadow the Queen's centenary be the point of no return for King Charles? It's hard to see how this doesn't pour gasoline on an already raging fire. This is no longer just a PR battle. It's a Cold War fought in the public eye. And as this pretend royal tour begins, the world is watching to see if it ends in triumph, disaster, or the final, irreparable breakup of the House of Windsor. What do you think about all of this? Is this a brilliant act of brand building, or a reckless move that will backfire? Leave your comments below. I want to hear every single take you have.